Julia. And good morning, Leah.
Good morning.
Okay, well, it's 9 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to be respectful of y'all's time. Thank you so much for joining us today at the SafetyNet Assistance Network meeting for December. We are so excited to have you and am just so thankful for all that you do in the community. We have a great schedule today. We've got 2 speakers and lots of announcements. And so want to go ahead and get started. If everyone could please be sure that they mute when you're not speaking so that we don't get any feedback, that would be great. And Debbie Mann is on, and Debbie is going to be she's really hosting this and is going to provide all the information that we need. So let's get started. Taylor with Charleston Legal Access is with us today, and she's going to talk about their agency and the expanded housing court. Some great news about that. So Taylor, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to this and hearing me talk about this. I think it's pretty exciting, but I might be biased. So that said, my name is Taylor, and I'm an Equal Justice Works Attorney Fellow hosted by Charleston Legal Access, which is located in North Charleston. And just to tell you a few things about Charleston Legal Access, if you're not familiar with them, they are South Carolina's first and only sliding scale nonprofit law firm. So they're expanding justice, access to justice by covering that group that's kind of in the middle of, we have our people that qualify for pro bono services, and then we have a group of people that can afford a private, more traditional priced attorney, but then we have those people with modest means. I personally would probably be one of them, who have these legal issues and just feel like they're left out in the dark because they can't afford a big attorney, but it's something they need help with, and it puts them in a really tough spot. So Charleston Legal Access provides a free screening call with everyone. Anyone can call and we can talk about their issue and get the information. And then we can give them some advice and counsel, or we can do a longer consultation, which is 1 to 2 hours. And it's a flat rate fee of $50 to $100. And during that, we can even help drafting letters, drafting documents, giving some sample language over. And some of our clients are then just ready to fly the nest. They got what they needed and they're ready to tackle it on their own. In the event that they're not, we also provide direct representation at those sliding scale rates of $50 to $100 an hour. So they do have the option of saying this is too much for me. I want an attorney. And then we're, capacity willing, we're able to move on to that too. In the event that we're not, or we feel like there's a better fit, we can refer them out. If they qualify for free legal services somewhere else, we absolutely refer them there because we don't want to charge them for something they could get for free somewhere else. But if they don't, then we can refer them to kind of some of our handpicked attorneys that are maybe a little more budget friendly and a little bit, more expedited with the process, and just who we have good working relationships with. So that's kind of the whole Charleston Legal Access, a very brief overview. And then Equal Justice Works is based out of DC, and they do work all over the country. So they have fellows and people working in all these different areas. They look at the whole country and they look at the big issues, and then they decide from there, where could we pour some resources into and for what cause, and where would it make a difference? So I don't want to be too much of a spoiler alert, but that's going to lead to us, right? So they have a housing justice program where they have put lawyers, organizers, and other supportive staff in 3 states, South Carolina being one of them, Maryland being one of them, and Virginia being the other. So right now that's kind of like the big project, and it's really exciting work because all of these areas that are going to be serving low income individuals in these areas who are currently at risk of or experiencing housing instability and involuntary displacement, particularly due to evictions. Something these areas have in common is really low eviction filing rates. I believe South Carolina has the second lowest in the country. It's only $40 to file an eviction. So what's happening is people are 5 days late on rent, and then they're having an eviction filed against them as like a very effective debt collection tool. But the consequences of having an eviction filed against you is something we'll go over briefly in a little bit, but they're not good. So we kind of, we want to avoid that as much as possible. But my fellowship is also partially funded by HUD, and that's through 180 Place. And I know that they've been, they're well known in the community, so I'm not going to tell you too much about them, but they're using court navigators and all these new services that are helping people, with a very holistic approach. So the reason preventing evictions is important is because we have a very, very high rate of evictions here and eviction filings here. And these are having a disproportionate effect on communities of color, on women, and on children. These evictions and this housing stability issue, it's leading to family instability. And I think I just want to take a second to really talk about what that looks like, because it's so easy to say. But what it is people losing their homes, not knowing where they're going to go. And maybe they can, if they're lucky, maybe they can stay with their aunt for a couple of weeks, but she lives an hour away and her house is very full. And, they can't stay there long term. So they're not enrolling the kids in school there because they don't know where they're going to end up. And then they're going to, this shelter, or maybe they're in their car for a few nights. And now there's DSS involvement because the kids are in a car. And it's very traumatizing for the whole family. It's extremely stressful for the adults and traumatizing for them, but then also very traumatizing for these little kids who are, missing school and just kind of, not having that stability themselves. The next big part of it is the economic hardship. So again, you're lucky enough to have an aunt to take you in for a couple of weeks. You move to her house. You're now an hour away from your job. So things already financially just weren't going well, but now you're pretty far from your job where you don't make a lot of money and maybe you don't have reliable transportation. Are you, ordering those Ubers to drive back and forth and get there, even though it's eating your entire wage? Or are you not showing up and risking losing that job? Are you trying to let that job go so that you have time to actually find a new job in the area? Should you actually find a new job in the area, because you're going to have to leave again soon and you don't know where you're going next? And with that economic hardship, when there is a put out, which is the actual last step of the eviction, all of your belongings are placed on the side of the road, they're brought to the curb, and the vast majority of people experiencing an eviction do not know where they are going. So they can't say, hey mom, I'm moving home. I'm going to move into your empty basement and I'm bringing my couch and my TV and all the kids' clothes and their winter stuff and everything, our Christmas tree, everything's coming. They don't have that. And a lot of times they also don't have the ability to hire a moving company. Not that they would even really have anywhere to send the stuff anyways, but it's typically just throwing some things in the car with the intent that once it's out on the street, you'll come back and get it. But that doesn't seem to happen very often. And they're losing all of that. So now they're looking for a place to live. They've got to pay first month's rent, last month's rent, maybe a big security deposit, maybe not. They have to pay application fees, and now they also have no belongings. So you have to refurnish your entire home. And it's not just the big things that we think about, the TV or the couches, and we all know how expensive furniture is, but it's also all the million little things you wouldn't think about, all of your baking stuff. Each half bag of chocolate chips is worth something, right? And to have to replace all of this stuff, I feel like it would just never be ending. A year later, we're making cookies. And we used to have all this baking stuff and now we have nothing. So we got to go get baked. It just never ends for them. And then, kind of circling back to the bigger picture with the hardship with jobs, and it's just very, very difficult for them to get caught up. And then there's health problems. I know anytime I'm stressed out, I start getting a cold. I think a lot of us experience that. But you're also missing those appointments because you're in survival mode. So you're not worried about like, oh, I'm going to the dentist, or I'm getting my kids to the dentist, or I need to go and see, I need to go in for this exam or this preventative medicine, or even for non-preventative things. Like even non-preventative things are getting placed on the back burner because again, you're just in survival mode. It's chaos trying to figure out what's going on. So it just leads to health problems as well, either from just chronic stress or from missing appointments, missing treatments, trying to save money by not going to treatments or stretching medicines out. It just creates a whole slew of problems that like we don't even think about. And then the next thing is finding a place to live. Oh boy. So they say like 33 households move to Charleston a day and far less move out. And I'm from Minnesota. I am guilty of being one of those, and I apologize. I'm trying to make a difference and make up for it. But so there's already a housing shortage, and it's already very competitive to find rental units, especially the ones that are like anywhere close to affordable. And what's happening then is you've been evicted. So you also don't have the money to pay this application and the deposit and all those things we talked about. So you're competing with a bunch of people who are ready to write that check. But then if you have this eviction on your record, it is so extremely difficult to get somebody to choose you for this apartment or this dwelling unit. And it continues, like the ball keeps rolling, and we just really need that access to safe and stable housing to avoid all of these negative outcomes. So that said, kind of getting to the solution is we have a housing court in Charleston County. It's very successful. Eviction Lab released some data in 2016 that our average rate of evictions in North Charleston was 16.5%. So out of every 100 unit building, 16.5% of those people were experiencing having evictions filed against them or full evictions. Very, very extreme when you compare it to the rest of the country. Those rates, you look lower, and there's some that have a 2% rate. There's some that have a 4%, and the average seems to be closer to, 4 to 6.5%. So 16.5 is so much higher, which got the attention of everyone. And in 2019, they started the pilot project for the Charleston County Housing Court. And I believe Mary is on here, but she works there currently, and she does a great job. And that's made it, really easy for me to kind of like want to replicate that to more people. So currently, there's an expansion through Charleston County, and we have the support of the Access to Justice Committee to expand statewide, which is super exciting. We're just waiting for the Supreme Court to hand down an order, but we expect their support, and we look forward to it, and we're optimistic, and we don't foresee any problems there. So our official program announcement is expanding, the housing court system to Dorchester and to Berkeley counties. The objective is the same as the Charleston one. We're trying to help prevent evictions. We're mediating with landlords or landlords' attorneys. It's very typical that a renter or a tenant shows up. They have no idea what to expect. They're unrepresented because they're struggling financially. They're not able to spend the time and the money finding a lawyer. And then the landlord shows up, and either they're represented, they usually are, or they're just very experienced in doing these and no longer need representation. So this kind of creates just a more fair playing field. So we're able to help these tenants avoid eviction by mediating with the landlords, which I think is honestly the most important part, because I personally wouldn't be able to mediate myself when I'm facing eviction and this is the person evicting me. It would be very, very hard for me to not cry and have an emotional conversation and be defensive because I'm very worried. It just wouldn't be something I could do. So I would love to have somebody, advocate for me if I ever needed that. And I think that's a huge part of this, is just kind of being able to have those calm discussions. And a lot of times I've seen it at the Charleston one, they go in and they say, Your Honor, we have an agreement. And the judge just puts it on the record and everyone goes on their way. Other times it's like, you know what, we don't have an agreement. We need a little bit of litigation, but we did figure some of this out, and it's much shorter. It's much less combative, and it's much more efficient. It's very quick. That said, the judge still makes all the rules. We don't get to make the decisions at the end of the day. But what we really want to see is these docket days. So a docket day is essentially just restructuring the way that things are scheduled and putting all the evictions on one day. The reason this is important is because not everyone will realize that this service is available to them. Like 211 has been great about referring people to us, more on that in a minute, but not everyone's going to know. So to be able to have them walk in and just say, hey, this is what we're here for if you're interested. And I've seen it at Charleston County and they seem to always be interested. And then they, fill out a form and they get going and they quick review all their things and they go in and help them out. So that said, what it looks like is reviewing those documents, doing the screening, the intake, getting the demographics, figuring out like how we can help them, because sometimes the eviction isn't even proper. And we still mediate, but like we can also point out that like, hey, this wasn't done right. And that gives us like an extra leg. And then, representation in the actual courtroom, and then sending them off with a list of resources. So in the meantime, while we're getting this housing court up and running, we are accepting referrals. So I just wanted to go through, what those referrals look like. The most like appropriate referral for us is a tenant. That means they're a renter. So they are not the landlord, even though sometimes we can help out the landlord at the same time, just because we're making this, this living situation work. They're still getting paid. They don't have a vacant apartment now. We are there to represent the tenants and their best interests. So that is that's the only one we would be able to take referrals for. And then we work with 80% AMI or below for this free service. So this housing court representation in these two counties is free. It's not on our sliding scale. However, if they are not in these two counties, it would be on our sliding scale, or we would be able to refer them. But we also have the option of doing it on the sliding scale. Also, if they are above that AMI rate, sliding scale. But if they are in Dorchester and Berkeley County, 80% AMI or below, and then they have to be threatened with eviction or have actually seen like the eviction process be started, like they've gotten their first notice. That's how we can sign them up and we can help them for free. So if we can't help them for free, they're not within that exact window, we can still do it on the sliding scale. But if they are Dorchester, Berkeley, facing an eviction, they're a tenant and they're 80% or below the AMI, then we have this free service. So yeah, threatened with evictions could just be the landlord saying, all right, well, you don't like that, I don't have water for you. You can just leave. I'm just going to end our lease. That is threatening with an eviction. So just kind of keeping that in mind, there's a little wiggle room there, even if they haven't gotten the paperwork yet. I know I'm almost out of time. So at this point, if you have questions for me, or if you want to watch the next presentation, then we'll do questions at the end. Kathy, I don't know how you usually take the questions, but I can answer some if there are any.
So if you'll put your questions in the chat, and then we will come back to them at the end of the meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Taylor, thank you so much. And thank you so much for all y'all do. We do know that this is a huge issue, and we have seen such an increase in people needing to move. And, to move is a minimum of probably $2,000 to $3,000 by the time you get another deposit. So yeah, it's a difficult situation. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me and letting me talk about this. So anyways, sure. I'll stick around for questions.
Okay. Thank you so much. And I hope y'all will take advantage of this. People do not know that this service is available. So please be sure to take advantage of it with your clients. So I want to introduce Sean Wilson. He's the Executive Director of Father to Father. And so Sean, I am going to turn it over to you to talk about all the wonderful things that y'all are doing at Father to Father.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having us this morning. So absolutely. My name is Sean Wilson. I'm the Executive Director for our Charleston County office. And today just wanted to hopefully most of you guys know a little bit about us. We've been around for over 20 years now. And here at Father to Father, we serve the majority of the counties in the Low Country. And our mission is simple. We're here to support fathers, families, and the community through social and economic development. Right. Go to the next slide for me, please. And so, every organization has a reason why they do what they do. And as you will see on these pictures that are here, in these pictures, you see a child on each picture, but you also see a father. And on one of these pictures, you also see a mother as well. Because ultimately, the reason why we do what we do is for the family. We believe that strong fathers equal strong families. And so that's why we work very hard to make sure that both father and mother have an opportunity to be in that child's life, because just statistics indicate that that gives the child the best opportunity to have successful opportunities in life. And so that is our mission. And so how we do that is here. So we're going to go over a few things. We like to say that we tell all our fathers when they come in to orientation, we say we are a hand up, not a handout. And so what we mean by that is that we will only be as useful to them as the commitment that they are willing to put in. So we're not a place that, we're going to do everything for you. We are your support. We are your advocates. We're going to make sure that they are able to navigate the systems and everything in a way that gives them a fair shot and just help them to understand. A lot of the fathers that come to our program, they feel as if they have been, marginalized. They feel like their voices aren't being heard. They feel like, a lot of them say this, this is like, feel like it's their last, shot at some things. And, and we get fathers from every spectrum. We get fathers who've been raised with fathers. We got fathers who did not have a father growing up. And so we have an opportunity to really be able to meet fathers where they are and be able to offer a wide range of services. As you see on the list here, we primarily make sure that we offer parenting education. And we'll talk a little bit more about that parenting education, but it includes healthy relationships, economic mobility. Those are two primary parts of our parenting education. We also offer child visitation guidance. So any father, and I say father, we primarily serve the non-custodial parents, which is in most situations is the fathers, but we also do have mothers in our program as well who find themselves in a situation where they may not be the custodial parent. But we help them to be able to file for visitation. So if they enroll with us, we do the paperwork with them in order for them to go pro se when they go, but we go with them to court, so we become pretty good at, we've done a lot of these hearings. So we able to really kind of help them to be able to navigate and know what to do, how to approach different things, what to expect during this process. And so we really work with them to be able to do that. We help fathers to be able to get their child support modified to make sure what they're paying should match based on what they are making. And so we help them to be able to file whatever paperwork they need for that. Our peer support groups, we host weekly that we'll talk a little bit more about. We also have family court trained mediators on staff where we're able to work and mediate between, the mother and the father. A lot of time that's the step that we want to take first before going to court. We want to do everything that we can to take the most least resistant route. And so this is a big portion of what we do, is always trying to bring the mother into the conversation when we meet with the father. We want to hear his side, but then we also want to be able to hear the side of the mother as well. Family court assistance, once a participant is in our program, we go with them to all of their hearings for child support and visitation. We are able to refer them out for any services that we do not offer in-house. We are able to establish partnerships with a lot of great organizations, including many who are on with us on today, that allows us to be able to, offer a father many things that we can't offer ourselves. And that's one of the things that is very important for us to be able to do. And we hope that we can continue that, is when we meet with the father, and we'll talk a little bit about it, the one-man plan, is each father has different needs. Some of them are very similar, but then we have fathers who have, specific needs. And so the more partnerships and the more organizations that we, are able to work with, we're able to find a person, organization that can meet the need of that father who comes to us, because we take the time to really try to build that trust of course, with fathers and with men, sometimes that can be a difficult thing to do. And so when they get to the place where they can trust us and we've built that rapport with them, then that allows us to be able to go deeper. And like I was sharing with Kathy a little earlier, one of the things that we've been finding over since the pandemic is more fathers in need of mental health services. And, I've been seeing that a lot. Some of my coworkers been coming to me, saying, hey, we got these fathers who's saying they want to talk to somebody, and I said, that's a place that we have to strengthen to make sure that we have ready, places to refer them to immediately when they tell us these things, because some of these things are immediate. Once they get to the point where they're expressing it to you, we want to make sure that we're quickly identifying where can we send them, and not so much have to worry, because a lot of times they'll say, well, I can't afford, to pay this or pay that. And so we don't ever want that to be an issue for them. Education assistance, we work closely with Trident Tech and Trident Literacy to be able to help them with skills, GED preparation and things of that sort. Employment assistant, we have a job developer on our staff who works with our fathers to help them become employed, or those who are underemployed, help them to find better jobs. We work with them to really try to help them to identify what careers that they want to work on, so that they can really begin to move forward in economically. We have 2 new programs listed here at the bottom: Housing to Home Ownership, also known as H2O. This is our location is actually a pilot site across the state, and this program is all about moving fathers up the stability spectrum in housing. So if a father is staying with somebody and they don't have their own place, they may be living on the couch, and so we want to help them move up the spectrum. Okay, how can we get you to the place where you can, get an apartment, or those who may be looking to purchase a home? We want to make sure that we meet them where they are and help them to begin to move up the spectrum of housing. And then the Building Better Bridges program, that's a program where we work with the youth, and we with our partnership with the Department of Juvenile Justice. And we're currently at the Department of Juvenile Justice Detention Center, North Charleston as well, where we're able to go in and offer services to them. It's kind of early fatherhood responsible, trying to teach them, to try to avoid certain things prior to getting into those things. A little more of a prevention program there. All right, we go to the next slide for me. And so this is our fatherhood flow chart. And so it identifies the different ways that a father comes into our program and how they flow through our program. And so a father can come through our program as a volunteer, or they can come through the court. And so through the court, they come 2 different ways. So at a rule to show cause hearing, where a father is going before DSS because they are on child support and they may be behind, DSS has the option to offer them to enter into our program as an alternative to going in front of the judge. And so that's an opportunity for them there. The judge can directly make the referral, or the other way through court is if a father is detained for child support, and let's say the judge gave him 6 months because of being behind in child support. They in the kiosk at the Dorchester Detention Center, the Berkeley and Charleston, they can request father-to-father services. And when they do, we'll go to the detention center, we'll interview them to see if they would be a good candidate for our program. If we identify them as being someone who, just kind of fell on hard times and we can really kind of help them to get back on track, then we'll petition the court to change that sentence from that 6-month sentence until sentencing him to our program. And therefore, if they complete our program, that 6-month sentence is wiped away. And so that's called our ATI, Alternative to Incarceration, which has been very successful, that we've been doing over a number of years now. So that's something that's really big, because of course it saves the taxpayers money, but it also allows that father to be able to continue to be in his child's life, to be able to continue to work. And because when that father is locked up, child support is still building up, all of these different things. So it kind of puts them in a cycle that makes it very difficult to get out, because once they get out, they probably lost their apartment, they lost a lot of different things. And so it feels like they're starting, as soon as they get out, it's like another court hearing is coming. So we want to be able to prevent that for the fathers who truly kind of fell on hard times, not the one who just decide I'm not paying child support. So being able to identify that is something that we work hard to be able to do. Then they come in through orientation. Then we do an intake where we're going, it's about an hour and a half process where we're really gathering a lot of information so we can determine how best are we going to be able to work and help this father. And then we develop a one-man plan, which we'll talk a little bit more about. And then we go through employment, weekly peer support groups, and individual development that they have with their intervention specialists to make sure that they move through our program. All right, go to the next slide for me. And so this is the one-man plan that I was speaking about. And so each participant at intake develops this one-man plan. And this is 2 to 3 goals that they have determined. This is why I'm here. This is why I came through your doors. This is why I reached out from the detention center or wherever. This is what I need help with. So these goals are, for example, things such as I want to build a better relationship with my child. I want to be able to see my child more. I want to be able to develop, be able to communicate and co-parent better. I need to find better employment. I need a specific job skill. So it can range. And so it's a lot of different, everybody one-man plan should look differently, you know? And then what we do on this one-man plan is for every goal that they set, now we talk about, all right, what is the assignment that is going to go with this goal? What do we have to do to make sure that we're making progress towards this goal? And so as you see, the type of goals, they need to be smart. We don't want to have that. We're not going to set them up and let them tell us, hey, I want to be a millionaire. You can't do that while you're with us. You know, I mean, yeah, you might win a lottery, whatever. I'm not going to say you can't, but it might be difficult. We want to be realistic. That's one of the important things, because we need to help them to experience wins, you know? So we want to be able to take these smaller goals that allow them to see progress towards it. So for example, if a father tells me that he wants to get his license, he never had a license. We see this sometimes. And so I won't put directly a license on the goal. I'm going to put the steps that he needs to take to get to the goal. So I'm going to put something like, all right, go get the book for your permit from the DMV, you know, because that's a small step. He's going to be able to see wins as he go through, and then we'll change the goal. So it's always a working document to allow that father to be able to see the progress that they're making, because that's always really cool to allow them to be able to see their progress. All right, next slide for me, please. All right, and so our peer support sessions, this is a main part of what we do. So every father going to have 2 things. Every father's going to have a one-man plan, and every father is going to commit to coming to our peer support sessions. All right. And so our peer support sessions at both of our current offices in Charleston and Berkeley are offered twice a week. We offer them at 2 different times to work around people's schedule. And so we offer a evening group, and we offer an afternoon group. And so in these groups, this is different than class. I always tell the fathers, because anytime you mention peer support sessions or classes or stuff like that, you know, you can get a little bit of, you know, hesitancy. You know, I don't really want to come to a class where you're just going to teach me, you know, skills like that. So I always let them know, hey, just come try it out first. One of the things that we've done post-pandemic is, instead of first enrolling someone immediately when they call, a lot of times I'll say, hey, we have group Tuesday night at 6. Come check us out first, so that we can make sure that you can see what it is. Because what we were seeing is we were getting people who were not really committed, you know, and so this right here really solved that problem by allowing them to see it first and then make that decision. But these groups are so much fun. It's my favorite part of work, because we have so much fun learning about different topics. So in parenting, we're talking about stuff like co-parenting, effective discipline, modeling to help your children learn, in healthy relationships. We're talking about Venus versus Mars, and a lot of times they can bring their significant other in and stuff like that. Economic mobility, we have people that comes in to help them build their credit. Financial legacy, helping them to establish banking accounts and things of that sort. So it's really cool. And right now we're currently in our Healthy Fathers, Healthy Family component. And so we just had the Low Country Food Bank in the last 2 weeks. They've been doing food demonstrations. So they've been cooking in class. Next week, we got the YMCA coming in to doing exercise classes. We're doing health screenings. So we just make it really a fun time. We serve dinner and lunch at all of our sessions. They always get to eat well. And special shout out to our places that really help us to be able to provide meals. Chick-fil-A provides us free meals once a session throughout our 6-week component. Red Lobster helps us out. And so it's great when these other organizations come in and really kind of help us to be able to offset some of the costs that then allows us to turn around and use that money for emergency assistance. So all of our fathers in our program who filing for visitation and modification directly through the courts, that's typically $150 fee. We're able to cover that for them at no cost. We're able to help them with, they get in a bind, need some grocery, different things like that. So we're able to really help our fathers do a whole lot of things. So each of these components consists of 6 weeks. And so we really stress to them the importance of finishing it so they can get that certificate. We celebrate them really big during our program completion services. And you'll be surprised to see how many fathers say this was the first time they ever really completed something, and so they're excited. We tell them to invite their families out. And so it's a big deal, something that we definitely look forward to. Next slide, please. All right. And so I also talked about our employment assistance with our job developer. And so every father that comes into our program, if they are unemployed, it's mandatory that they start with our employment job boot camp. And so this is a 5-day informative session where we're providing the soft skills necessary in order for them to be successful on a job. So we're doing stuff like interviewing skills, building their resume. And so we're looking at this almost like a part-time job, so it's Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. And we're trying to see, can you come to boot camp every day on time? Are you going to show up dressed appropriately? If you go to the next slide for me, I think that's also part of this one as well. 10 o'clock sharp. If they need clothing vouchers, we can provide that. Goodwill helps us with that. Also, we have a clothing closet at our location, at both our locations as well, full of suits and all kind of things that have been donated to us that allows them to do that too. We even provide them with a card at the beginning of the week on Monday that has $50 on it. And we let them know this is for, they get you lunch every day, because they go to 10 to 12 is class, 12 to 1 is lunch. And even that is something that we're monitoring. We want to see that how do they manage money? If they spend all $40 on Monday, then that gives us some intel that lets us know that we may need to have a further conversation with them to understand that this was supposed to get you through the whole week. But it also provides us other intel. Like we had one situation where a father on Monday went out with that $50 card for lunch, and he comes back with bunches of grocery, and what that told us was that he did this because he wanted to be able to go home and show his family that he was able to provide. So, we didn't look at that as, we didn't get upset, but what that showed us was he has a need that's bigger, than, he has a family need that he needs to be able to provide grocery. But it made him so, feel so good to be able to have that money and to be able to go home and be able to tote these bags of grocery in the house. And so we were able to experience really good, cool things like that. All right, next slide for me. And so expectations for those who enroll in our program is they must stay in contact with us. That's the only way we can really help them. So we stress the importance of communicating with your intervention specialist. They must consistently pay their child support as ordered. We're not here to help anybody, duck and hide from the child support system. We're there to help them to be able to meet their obligations. And so we make that very, we get their monthly pay histories, and each month we looking to see, did you make your payment? And if not, we have further discussion. Why not? What happened? They must attend boot camp if unemployed. They must actively be attempting to be in their children's lives, absolutely is a must. And they must be attempting to complete the goals in their one-man plan. All right, further expectation, we really encourage them to get on wage withholding once they are employed, so that money can come directly out of their check. They're not even seeing it, and they can really, not put themselves in a situation. We don't want them repeating the cycle. We want them to get out of it and not go back in it. Maintain update contact information, and just effectively communicating with their intervention specialists. All right, and so what are the requirements for fathers to enroll? They must be over 18, child under 18, no charges or conviction against minors, no domestic violence convictions in the past 5 years, or violent crime convictions in the past 5 years as well. All right, and a little bit about how we kind of receive our funding. We get state funding, federal funding, and generous donors. John Winthrop and Company is a big donor for us. in lots of organizations and companies in the community, rather it be money or whatever way. It's just so great because we always say when people ask, how can I be a part or how can I help? And I say, whatever it is that you can offer, because we have fathers with so many different diverse needs. So whatever you can offer, rather it be money, even your skill and your talent, is something that we can use. Oftentimes we have some attorneys or different things that are willing to help us do workshops and stuff like that. So those things are always beneficial to us to be able to help fathers with different needs. And currently we have an office in Moncks Corner. That's 255 North Highway 52 is where our Moncks Corner office is. And Vincent Mercer is the executive director over in Berkeley County. Of course, our office here at off of Woodbine Avenue, right off of Rivers and Remount, is our headquarters office. And we are also looking to expand in the year 2023 as well, to expand to a physical office in Somerville area and also in Beaufort as well. So anybody have any ideas of some locations there, definitely let us know. And that's how you can reach me, our contact information. And we thank you for allowing me this opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, Sean, thank you so much. That was incredible. I did not know about all the different services you provided. So thank you so much. And I hope all of you that are on this call will refer folks that need to be referred to Father and partner with Sean. That would just be great. So thank you, Sean. So we're going to do some announcements now. I'm not sure if everybody is on the call, so I'll just call out. So Angela Morris from Magdalene House, are you on?
I am. Hey, how are y'all doing? We are having our recovery jam. We're going to be the beneficiary of the recovery jam tomorrow at Isle of Palms Exchange Club. That's going to be from 5 to 10. We're going to have some, I apologize for the granddaughter in the background.
Okay.
We're going to have some live artists, some live music. It's going to be a really good time. Good food trucks right on the water. It's going to be a beautiful event just to help bring awareness to recovery in the area, substance abuse disorders. And we're just really looking forward to seeing everyone.
Thank you so much. Enjoy that grandchild. Caprice Atterbury, are you on for Origin or someone from Origin? Okay. North Charleston Dental Outreach, Elijah.
Hello. Yes, you may have seen it on the news, but North Charleston Dental Outreach is an organization that's been around for a while, but we just were able to have a new grand opening, we're calling it, at our new location, which is 3625 Azalea Drive in North Charleston. I have a flyer that I sent to Debbie that was a little too late to be in the slides, but it's going to be sent out in the email that goes over the services that we offer. But basically, we're expanding our services to more than just emergency extractions, but we're trying to build a patient base to be able to do some more restorative fillings and deep cleanings and things in the new year come January. So if you're part of an organization which refers your clients to different medical, or that have different medical needs, to different health centers, we would love to be able to partner with you. So feel free to give me an email. My email is listed. And then the flyer will have our website on it, which is just northcharlestondentaloutreach.com. It has our office phone number as well, and we'll be able to talk more about getting patients in and being able to talk more about the services we offer. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you, Elijah. That is great news about the dental. If you didn't see all the PR about it, please Google it, because it's just great. So thank you so much. There is someone from Origin on, I think Latasha.
Yes, sorry, I'm getting my camera up. Okay, so yes, hello everyone. My name is Latasha Francis, and I'm here at Origin SC, a licensed creative counselor. Just a couple of announcements that we have. We do have our HSCP eviction prevention and foreclosure prevention program going on. We do still have some funds available for the town of Somerville for rental assistance. that we're looking to help a few more families stay in their home, and especially during the holidays. And our HSCP program is helping with budgeting, counseling, and we're just trying to build housing stability in the community. So they can reach us on our website at originsc.org and register for those services. And again, the town of Somerville, we do still have some grant funds for that. So we're looking to spend those down as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is great news. Appreciate it. Is someone on from the Navigation Center? Okay, we'll move on. David from Molina Healthcare.
Hi there, good morning, and thank you so much, Kathy. So Molina Healthcare South Carolina, we have partnered with the Charleston Hispanic Association, and on December the 17th, we're going to be hosting a free toy giveaway. Again, this will be for 100 kids. It will be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, families will have to go to their Facebook page to register for the event, and that will actually be going live this coming Monday.
Great. And all of that information, does Debbie have all that information, Debbie, that she can send out to everyone?
Not yet. The marketing is being finalized, but by Monday morning, I will have it ready to go live.
Okay.
So what I'll do, I'll
Super.
shoot her an email and I'll attach it.
Okay. And she'll be able to send that out with everything that we saw today. Thank you so much.
Perfect, thank you.
Haley with Charleston Pro Bono. Okay, Melissa Workman. All righty, and then we'll go to Trident Tech. Jean could not be on. Oh, I'm sorry. Community Garden Initiative. Joey or Naomi?
I'm on. Thanks so much, Miss Kathy. Appreciate you having me here. Just a reminder to everyone on the call, we still have an opportunity for folks to apply to get funding and support to build a brand new community garden. If that's something that you or your organization or an organization that you know is interested. The applications will still be up until next Friday. So you have a full week to get those applications in. It's a pretty short application process. It won't take too much time, and we really want to make sure we get a great applicant pool so that we can provide this resource out to any folks in the community who are interested in building a community garden. So any information that folks want to or need in addition to that, feel free to contact me or go to our website at tuw.org/community gardens.
Great. Thank you, Joey. That's a great opportunity. So I wanted to just chat a minute about Charity Tracker. If you are not using Charity Tracker as your client system and are interested in that, please let me, or most of all, Debbie Mann know. Debbie Mann is our new she's going to be head of Charity Tracker. She's our new financial stability program manager. We're really excited about that. So Debbie will be doing trainings. We do have a training on Monday, our first in-person training in 2 years. So we're really excited. It will be at our office on Rivers Avenue, and you just need to register through SurveyMonkey. So Debbie, thank you so much. And if you cannot use this for your client management system, but would like to use the bulletin board feature, it is really, really helpful. You can post information about services you have or events going on, and at times client needs. So just contact us and we will be glad to help you with that. All righty. So just a reminder, Jean Brooks could not be on today, but Trident Tech has some amazing free, tuition is free until 2024. So please encourage folks. And then for some of the certification programs, they have some scholarships. So please look at this when it comes to you. It's just great information, great opportunity for people to take advantage of classes at Trident Tech. And then our next meeting, if you're interested in presenting, please let me know. So Elijah, I'd love for you to present about the dental clinic at our next meeting. We are very hopeful, and we'll be able to let you know that our meeting in we're not going to meet in January because it's right when everybody is getting back, but we're very hopeful that in February we'll be able to meet together. It'll be a breakfast meeting, and we will keep you informed about that, but we'll be able to be in person. So I'm really very, very excited that we're going to be able to do that. Does anybody have any questions they need to put in the chat before we go for any of the speakers or anything? I'm looking just to make sure. Okay, I don't see anything. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. I hope you get some rest, enjoy time with your family, and we are really excited and looking forward to seeing you in February. So thank you so much for all you do for the community, and have a great holiday.
Kathy, just one quick
Oh,
reminder.
Sure.
Everybody will receive all of the slides, the presentation, as well as any flyers or announcements that were sent to me.
Okay.
So, and if any of the people that made announcements that didn't send a flyer yet, please feel free to send it. I won't be sending the follow-up till Monday afternoon.
Great. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that so much. And don't forget about the community garden deadline on next Friday. So thank you all so much. Have a great holiday.